coming in from Mombasa Road out towards the city then. We'll have bits and bobs of traffic here, but all manageable. We shall keep an eye on things. Let's talk on Spice FM KE on X, hashtag The Situation Room.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Oko, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latin, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's 8 minutes after 9, on to the final hour of Kenya's biggest conversation this week. We thank you very much for keeping it locked. And as we continue thanking you very much for keeping it locked, we continue advising you as well to go look out and check out Taifa Pension Fund on their website and see what it does. So Taifa Pension Fund is start thinking about your retirement, and also you're just preparing yourself, ahead of time for everything else. Take your pension, take it here to the largest, fastest growing fund administered by Kenya's largest pension fund administrator, that is CPF Financial Services. It has over 200,000 unique employers. It has more than 500,000 members on it. They're effective and transparent. Optimum interest rates are guaranteed. Claims settled within 14 days. This is the best pension fund that you can think of. Taifa Pension Fund, right? As we have got into our next conversation, the holidays are here. Children are at home. Form 1, 2, 3 walifunga shule, sindio?
Yes.
Form 4 ndio wanamalizia exam alafu koja funga shule. They'll be adults. Wezi ambia mambo mengi. We've gone through it. We even burnt the books. Considering, yes, after finishing our exams. What are you saying? We'll have a conversation about then how they come and how they behave during the holidays. As they do that, Ndu,
Yes.
25,000 shillings should be going out to somebody today, courtesy of Stanbic Bank.
Indeed. Kenya's number one.
By Hegwan.
Kenya's number one private bank is saying, you know what? The things that we talk about, the elements that we say are going to help you succeed in your financial journey, living, planning wisely, living joyfully, banking wisely, and, creating a legacy. Tell us about how those things have come true as you open your Stanbic account, or as you have used your Stanbic account in the past. Tell us that. The most compelling, 25,000 shillings could be yours today. What you need to do is send us a little bit of that information and send that to us on our socials. Direct message, of course, and it could be you walking away with 25,000 shillings by the top of the hour.
Like that.
Like that.
Sindio, mambo ni fast like that. Mambo ni live. Sindio. Nicole Molly Abeka is a youth advocate and for adolescent health and rights, and she's our guest. And she's here alongside Hamisi Said Mwambonze, who is a parent and also somebody who campaigns against sexual and gender-based violence. Hamisi, Nicole, good morning.
Good morning.
Karibuni sana to Kenya's biggest conversation. As a hot seat of the situation. How does it feel, Nicole?
Feels good.
You're easy, you're relaxed.
Yes.
Right? Ati, you're an advocate and adolescent for adolescent and health rights. What does that mean?
An advocate for sexual reproductive health and rights is someone who advocates for rights, sexual rights, is someone who advocates for access to sexual reproductive health rights information, advocating for comprehensive sexual information, someone who advocates for empowering young people or young adolescents on matters sex. Yes.
So someone who advocates for sex rights for adolescents. Someone may just pick that bit. So just clarify. Are you advocating that that adolescents have a right?
No. What are these rights?
Yes.
Rights of consent.
Right.
The age of consent in Kenya is 18. So a child we consider people under the age of 18 as children. So as a child, you don't have the right to consent. So you should not engage in sexual activities. And when someone forces you to engage in sexual activities, you know that you have a right to report this. You know that you have a right to seek justice. So when you're talking about sexual rights, we are actually telling you that you have a right to say no when there is need. Yes.
Right, I get it. Hamisi, you also involved in campaigning and creating a lot of awareness about sexual and gender-based violence. And you're a parent yourself.
Yes.
So how do you do this?
First of all, I'm a parent and I'm also a CHP, community health promoter, from my area. So I do these campaigns through my households, through chiefs barazas. We do have, sometimes we have meetings with youth groups. So I do go and advocate for that sex education there. That is what I do.
Okay.
Yes.
So karibuni sana. The first thing that we're going to do
Asante sana.
is we'll welcome you with the day's proverb. The job that you have is to listen to the proverb and City, do what?
First, you will interpret the proverb from the language of Kiswahili to the language of English. Then you will tell us what you think the proverb means. Our proverbs for this week are from the Republic of Kenya, and they're in Kiswahili. Now the proverb, lisilo na budi hutendwa.
Lisilo na budi hutendwa. Nicole, you go first.
Lisilo na budi hutendwa.
Yes, in English?
Just in English, it's hey. Okay, that's English.
Lisilo na budi hutendwa. Kiswahili is a bit challenging.
Why don't you just take a wild guess?
Lisilo na budi, something that does not have much importance, or hutendwa
Go on.
should be done or is done.
You've taken, yes, and you've proceeded. Good. I mean,
Lisilo na budi hutendwa. It's like where there's no road, there must be a road.
spot on.
No, Hamisi, because that's why we're Kiswahili na Kimanya.
Kiswahili na Kimanya.
And there are very many people who are not getting this thing.
Yes.
What is the direct translation of Lisilo na budi?
In Kiswahili, in English.
Yeah,
In English.
Kiswahili to English.
Kiswahili to English.
Yes.
Lisilo na budi hutendwa.
Yes.
Yes. Sasa it's like I'm a parent. Do you see that? My child needs a book or school fees. I must do whatever I can to provide that book or the school fees to my daughter or to my son. Yes.
What has to be done has to be done.
Yes.
Or for-
In short,
what needs to be done has to be done.
Nicole, you get it?
Yes.
You get it? You get it now? Very good. So what's your translation of that then? What's your interpretation of it?
The meaning, my interpretation is, to us as parents, we are here to educate parents on sex education. Parents, please, sit with your children. The schools have been closed. They're from 2 to 1 to 3 at home. Form 4s are coming home very soon on 22nd. So please have time. Have time with your children. Talk with them confidently. Don't be shy to your daughter or to your son. That's the meaning of that proverb.
Nicole, same for you?
For me, I believe that I'm a comprehensive sexual educator, and as adolescents, adolescence is a stage of curiosity. Like, young people are very curious and they seek exploration. So young parents, because we have young parents, we also have old parents. So parents should take responsibility on teaching their children on comprehensive sexual education. They should give them factual information to help them make informed decision. Because if I tell you that engaging in early sex has consequences, then you'll listen to me. But if I don't tell you this, then you'll engage in sex and you might experience these consequences. Then who will I blame as a parent? So it is parents' responsibility to teach their children on comprehensive sexual education. Yes.
How do you think that's currently happening? How do you think parents are talking to their children about sex and sexual behavior right now? How is it happening? Before we even get to how does it make young people feel? How is it happening from what you know?
From what I know, growing up in a household full of girls, my mom was very open with us. She created a safe space for us to converse about such things because we are 3 girls in our home. So she taught us on the importance of using protection if at all you are engaging in sexual activities. But the main thing she advocated for was abstinence. But a lot of parents, I don't think they talk about sex with their children, comprehensive sexuality education with their children, majorly because of cultural norms, which find conversations around sex as a taboo. They think that when you're talking about comprehensive sexuality education, we are teaching young people to engage in early sexual activities, but that is contrary to the point. When we talk about comprehensive sexuality education, we are empowering young women or young girls, young boys to take charge of their lives. We are telling them that they have rights. We are telling them that they can take control of their body autonomy. And it also empowers them to make right decisions, yes.
How should parents be talking to young people? Because the first one was, how are they talking to young people? And I think just based on what young people may say, they feel as though, you know what, if you're a little bit more open with me, then maybe I would have more information and I would make better decisions. How should parents be talking to young people about sex and sexual behavior?
First, to me, parents must be friends to their sons and daughters, first and foremost, so that they can open to their daughters and sons, the parents, even the guardians, even the community. Because when we grew up, we were community-led children. A parent could not see somebody's daughter being harassed or being taken out of the way by somebody and let her or he do that thing. He or she could take the advantage of the parent and stop that habit. So the parent first, they have to be friends. They have to become friends with their children. So from there, they'll sit and discuss and get and listen to the children to come out with each and everything that they have on matters of sex.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that why people have been so nervous? Because this year, like any other year, school closed, right?
Yes.
People are going to finish exams next week, and then they'll be at home for a month plus. But interestingly enough, at the beginning of the holidays, at the beginning of end of October, we started seeing articles and people were saying, oh, school is going to be closed for 2 months. What are we going to do? And I thought to myself, is it the first time? School closed for 2 months last year, did it not?
It is.
It closed for 2 months the year before that, did it not?
Then they said the same things.
And they said the same thing. So what is it that we suddenly feel that now when people are at home, they're going to start exploring the unexplorables and start discussing the undiscussables? Where is that fear coming from? That now because they're at home for 2 months, there's nobody to engage them, there's nothing to do, and then now you start getting involved in the things that you ought not to? Why are we so nervous?
As you all know, an idle mind is a breeding ground for risky behaviors. And when the children are at home, they have a lot of free time. Like they have so much time and they have nothing to do. And I think what's causing the alarm is the statistics that recently came out about 41% of the new HIV infections in Kenya are of young people aged 15 to 35, and about 18% of that are young people aged 15 to 24 years old. So parents are concerned if most of the new infections are of young people, then what are our children doing? Are they going to engage in sex? Are they going to engage in sexual activities and get this disease? What should we do to curb this disaster? And also the rising issues on femicide. You've seen that young girls, young women aged 19, aged 21, their dead bodies are being found lying around in forests and everywhere. So parents are concerned. How are we going to keep our children safe from these things that are happening? So that is what is raising the concern mostly at this time.
Okay. So help me out here, because obviously you operate in these spaces. Are we saying that today, everybody who was involved in what are kids studying in up to class 8 now? Science, biology, whatever. And then we get to high school, you're doing the biology, Kiswahili. Are we saying that you, in that moment as well, that young people have sex on the brain? And then now when you get out of school, now it is pro max and it needs to be curtailed? Is that what we're saying? That we've really become so overly sexualized that something needs to be done about it? Are we at a problem place?
Yes, we have a problem there. It's not only the ones who are coming from school, there are also dropouts from school. There is a lot of poverty in our setups. There are so many drugs, alcohols in our setups. So, as we see now, and as we sit here right up now, there were demolitions, there were floods. Like where I come from, the floods made life to be so hard, seriously, plus the demolitions. So there are so many dropouts from school. There are so many young ones who are very vulnerable with their families, their fathers and mothers divorced. There are so many divorces. So you see the young ones who are coming from school and the ones who are still at the community are seeing sex as a normal thing. Because it is now being practiced by the young age. It is in the social media.
Yep.
They can access it.
Yep.
So it's up to the parents, the church leaders and the Muslim leaders, all the religious leaders, to come together, the administration, non-governmental organizations, to assist these children, plus their families, all the fathers and mothers, to curb this menace of sex.
You know,
Yes.
it's not that many parents don't try, right? I mean, you engage with parents all the time.
Yes.
It's not that they do not want to, but sometimes they're not able to. What is it that prevents parents from having these conversations with their children, particularly their adolescent children?
There's culture and there's a religion there. Yes. Culture and religion.
You know about them?
Sorry.
As I said earlier, cultural norms, we have taboos around talking about topics around sex. It is a taboo to talk to your children. Some cultures believe that it is a taboo to talk to your children about sex. And it is a taboo to talk to your children about contraceptives. And it is a taboo to talk to your children about relationships. So that is what is preventing parents from talking to their children.
You know, the fear of adolescents contracting sexually transmitted diseases or HIV, that has been with us from the time we understood what HIV was. Yes. That the adolescents and those who are in that bracket, that age bracket of adolescents, have often carried the burden of the prevalence is also a constant. But what perhaps not mentioned is that the prevalence of HIV has actually gone down in this country. You talk about 1996, was at around 10%. We talk about 4.3% now. However, when one talks of risky behavior, one must understand that we are in the information age and that it is very easy for young people to get information that previously one would not easily access. And that's where your point comes in, because you have time on your hands and you have access to this information. There's a lot you'll explore. There is a lot that you will be able to do with that information. But the same gadgets that we fear will give the adolescents information that may be harmful to them is the same gadget that can actually be very useful if utilized properly. Now, when one talks of this age, what then must parents do to ensure that the time is utilized well? We understand parents are struggling right now, and the issue of children going to school is a problem. The children staying at home is a problem. What must parents do? Or let me ask a different question. What would the young people want the parents to do? Because that is perhaps a more pertinent question. Because they're the ones who are on holiday. What would they like to see the parents doing for them so that they can occupy their times well?
As a young person, speaking on behalf of young people, what they'd want their parents to do. I believe if we engage them in meaningful activities, like maybe taking them to theater schools or just taking them to activities that will help them grow mentally, like enrolling them in maybe leadership classes and things like that, will help curb this idle time, because now they have a lot of time on their hands doing nothing. So when you involve them in such activities, they don't have as much time. And also, we've talked about the information age, where we have information on the internet. I believe parents should be able to monitor their children's online presence, because majority of the time you scroll through TikTok and you find so many like things that do not like align with our morals and our beliefs. We find like around 9, 10 or around midnight, people are engaging in very I'd call them unethical things on the internet, and our children are exposed to this. So when you monitor their online presence, for example, young people aged 15 to 19, you should tell them you are able to use your phone from this time to this time to do these particular things, because we, as he has said, we get information online. Sometimes you Google search something and you get the answer to it, meaning technology is very important, but technology is also very risky. And when you give your phone to a child without monitoring what they're doing with this phone, then you're misleading them, because they will get all sorts of information that sometimes may lead them astray. And majority of the time you find that the information online is very misleading. And we also have a lot of peer pressure online, because you find, young girls are going on vacation, they're talking about mubabas. This is a lot of peer pressure, and because someone is poor and because of poverty, now they're using transactional sex to cater for their needs. So I feel like parents should make sure that they monitor their children's online presence and engage them in meaningful activities.
Let's take a break. It's 9:30. We're having a conversation today. So, school holiday season is here with us. What's the role of parents in shaping teenagers' views on sex during the holiday break? Nicole Molly-Abeka is a youth advocate for sexual reproductive health rights for adolescents. Hamisi Said Mwambodze is a parent and community health promoter, and also somebody who is a very big campaigner against sexual and gender-based violence. As we go into the break, there's something called private banking.
Indeed.
By Stanbic Bank,
Yes.
Kenya's #1 bank for private banking.
Exactly.
And we've been saying that we want to give somebody 25,000 shillings straight into their account.
Absolutely. So we asked you guys, talk about the different ways in which those 4 elements that Stanbic talks about when it does come to your private banking. And this morning, Anastella Mwago has said legacy, that would like to be associated with that of becoming a great entrepreneur in real estate by joining Stanbic Bank private banking. I can acquire that legacy. There are various means of making that legacy. I'm talking about investing wisely, where you get investment solutions to support financial growth. Stanbic has local and offshore banking, and my well-being is catered to via planning wisely.
Indeed. So think private banking, think Stanbic Bank. 29 to 10. Back shortly.
Every year,